All right, eighth grade. So kind of picking up right where we left off yesterday, I want to talk about how to solve a quadratic equation that is not equal to zero. And it's really not hard. I just kind of wanted to separate it because I didn't want like these two ideas floating around all at once. So the whole idea that we're using here is that I've got these two binomial factors, and I don't know what they are individually, but I know their product. So if we try to do something similar here, if I were to be able to get this quadratic to factor, it doesn't. But let's say, hey, I got this thing factored, and this thing equals -5. There's an infinite number of ways to come up with that magic number of -5 rather. I could do 1 times 5. I could do -1 times 5. Let's switch that. I could do 10 times a half, and then the combinations of positive and negatives on that. The reason why they were able to do this when the product is 0 is because of that special multiplicative property of 0. So it only works when these things are equal to 0. So real simply, if your quadratic equation doesn't equal 0, just make it equal 0. I can manipulate this right-hand side of the equal sign and add or subtract whatever is over there to get that 0 that I need. So in this case, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. I get 0, and then I'm going to simplify this left-hand side. -10 plus 5 is 5. And then I'm going to drop down my n squared and my 4n. Okay, what you should be left with now is a quadratic that will factor. So this guy will factor into n plus 1, n plus, that's not right. Okay, I made a mistake. You probably caught it before I did. That should be -5 here. So that's going to be n minus 1, n plus 5. So that means that my solutions are +1 and -5. So real simply put, if your equation doesn't equal 0, you need to make it equal 0. You cannot factor and solve an equation that is not equal to 0 yet. So real quickly on these, I'm not going to go through the whole factoring process. We factor. I'm kind of sick of it. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. You should be able to factor n squared minus 12n plus 36 equals 0. Same thing here, subtract 8 from both sides. So you wind up with r squared plus 4r minus 32. Okay, those both factor, solve, get your solutions. And then it really doesn't matter. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to make a difference here. Just get that right-hand side equal to 0. Move whatever's over on the right over to the other stuff on the left so that it equals 0. And then they will factor and solve.